And yesterday we were working on getting the partitions to fetch, and I don't need that much volume. And so we left off on getting the intersecting dimensions on the get dims. So what we can do is we have our world PID, so we can just do world server get dims, PID, and a dimension. So we'll probably do a couple of assertions here. Probably should get one intersecting dimension. And so we'll create a dimension, which is this, dimension, and we'll make it x is 10, y is 10, width is 40, height is 40. Cool. So now we just get dim, and we should get a PID. I guess that's the thing that we need to figure out is, what do we get? Do we get a map of dimensions, dimensions and PIDs, or what? The nice thing about the dimensions is that we can do there's a couple of things we can do. So we can get the dimension exactly as we want it, so do a direct pattern match, and then we can get actually I want get that's getting them all. So what we can do is we do a direct pattern match. Okay. And then this way, don't even need to get the partitions. We just need to get the PID. So, just thinking through this, we'd have to make, so we can do get dims PID, and we give it a list of dims. Call PID get and so that would get us all the ones that actually match. So that's the fastest way. And that will return a something, a spec. So this is get dims, PID, and a list of dimensions. And this will give us a list of PID and dimension. What we can also do, we can say def calculate dimensions. And this will just figure it out for us. So we're going to pass it a dimension, and this gives us a calculate dimensions. We give it a dimension, and this gives us a list of dimensions. So we can sort of daisy chain these together. So we can calculate the dimensions, and then we can pass it on to getDims. If we switch these around, we can use piping. Like that. So here we have a dimension. I'm going to tag and skip this 2, and we're just going to test should calculate the dimension, calculate one dimension fetch the dimension. That's kind of weird, but we don't actually need this. Let's do that. And what we're going to do is we're going to say world, we need a dimension, so it's going to be this one. So the next test is going to change a little bit. So we're going to world server get dimension, or calculate dimensions. Okay, and we're going to pass it the dimension. This will give us a list, but we can just assert that. Assert. And that's going to equal a list of dimension, and that's going to be x0, z0. Width is going to be 1600, and height is going to be 1600. And so that should match and be truthy. So here we calculate the dimensions. So one thing we can do is we can calculate the x and round it down. So we can say say x is equal to dimension dot x divided by 1600. So if it's 10 divided by 16, that's the other way. 1600 divided by that, which would be the partition width. Partition width. And our z is going to be our partition height divided by dim z. Okay, and now what we'll need to do is we'll need to get the absolute value. So what we're going to need is we need a browser, Elixir math, and maybe under kernel. Maybe yes. Yes. So returns absolute value of an integer float. So we're going to need to round it and then get the absolute value. And round it and get the absolute value. Now, that should give us a dimension. So we're going to return a dimension, which x is x, z is z, width is partition width, and height is partition height. Test. And the left-hand side, so I think we do have this backwards. So I'm glad it failed, because we never actually test for failure. Actually, yeah. Partition width. Dim z divided by at partition height. There we go. So we got that one. Now should get all intersecting dimension. Do end. Okay, and we're going to do this one, which is much larger, and we're going to do 4 intersecting dimensions. Let's put a comma on the end. Okay, and what we'll need is one of these that's, let's say, like, let's get a calculator out. Actually, let's get a more fun calculator out. We're going to do 1600 times 3. So let's do 4950. 4950. And then we're going to go 1600 times 4. I'm going to do 6590. 6590. And then our width is going to be 1600, and our height's going to be 1600. Okay, so now we're going to span four things. 4 things. Uh, 4800 and sorry to clear my throat a little bit there. 6400, 400. So that's the top left, and then the top right would be 6400, 6400, and then times 5 would be 8000. 8000. 6400, oops, by 8000. So that should fail. And it fails beautifully. And what we're going to need to do is we're going to need to multiply this by partition width and multiply this by partition height. There we go. Okay, so that gives us one of them. And now I guess what we could do is we can create a function out of this. fp get dimension containing x and z. Okay. And this is going to give us spec get dimension containing a integer, and this will give us either a dimension or nil. So if it doesn't match, we'll get a nil. And so we're going to get nil is not going to work because we always match something. No, we may not actually match something. And so we need this here, and this will give us a dimension. It's going to be here. And for the end, okay. And let's do we could do a tuple. Let's think here. Let's extract these dimensions out. One more thing. Is there a interesting, okay. Do each we can into. Into works. So let's do 4 intersecting dimensions, and then here skip should get 2 intersecting dimensions. I'm going to need a test for that as well. So now, if we go through our dimensions, so if you say points is equal to dim x, dim y, so fp get points and dim.x, dim.y, dim.x plus dim.width, dim.z, dim.x plus dim.z plus dim.height. And dim.x plus dim.x plus dim.width, dim.z plus dim.height. There we go. So that'll give us our points. So get points dim, and then we can set that to get enum dot into or into no. Yes, into. Okay, and this will pass the points. We're going to give it a map. Yeah, we can go to list, and then we can filter the list. So into, we give it a list, and it's going to be at get dimension containing. It's going to be area 1. I'm going to change this to a tuple. Problem with the map, we can get the same one multiple times, or a list. So do a map. And that's not going to work. So if we turn it as a map, and we're going to say returns as that, so we're going to call this our dim, and we're going to turn it as a dim. That. And at the last point, we're going to enum dot filter our into, and over this thatch, and we're going to pass it a function which is key value, which is in. We don't really need one of these, and that. So we're not even doing a test on that. We're just going to return the dim. So, next test. Line 61. Oh, we got the paren here. Undefined function dim 75. So we can just do x, oops, z, There we go. Okay, so we've got 4 of them. On the previous test. So our new test worked, the old test failed. Interesting thing is I figured the map, because it's going up by pointer. So we could do reduce. And if it's kind of a bummer. Because it'll match by pointer. We could make the key. This is a little sloppy. We can make the key that. And change this back to into. Nope, that didn't work. I wonder why that didn't work. We would think that would have matched. Oh no, because it goes back to tuple, which will match on that. Not on the values, but the actual pointer to it. So that's not going to work either. This is also kind of sloppy, but it will also be fast. That also didn't match. Now that one should have matched. Let's take a look here. Key. Yeah, they're all zeros. Returns a list for each item. Expected key value tuple. I wonder if we do this. String to item. So it's not mapping the way I would expect it to. So let's call reduce. And reduce, let's get the order, is map reduce. No, that's not what we want. Okay, so we just want regular reduce. This one here. And we can pass it the accumulator. In this case, it'll be a map. A regular map. Okay. This is fine. It's not technically right anymore. And this is going to be our accumulator. It's a second argument. Okay, now we're going to do map.put as this is going to be our key, and it's going to be our value. Get dimension containing the accumulator now. Oh, here. Get this backward. Alright, put 3, put. Okay. That's better. Now, our problem is hard to read because it's not in a particular order. But we are one step closer. I'm going to change this back to that. Okay. So it does map correctly, it's just that we can't guarantee order. So what can we do? Oops. Is there a sort? We do here. And we're going to sort them. We know that sort, and we're going to need a couple of functions. Sort by byte size. So I think we could do sort of like a way to just map on field. Sort. Okay, that's pretty easy. I wonder if we can do that. We'll do function left, right, and if we do left dot x greater than r dot x, and L dot z is greater than R dot z. And that still didn't do it right. 16. Go the other way. Still not better. We got 16. 64. Right hand side, which is 1648. You know what might be easier? Is to do this. This is clever. And probably Rebuttal, but that's fine. So the one we want to do is 1, 2, it's gonna be 64, 64. Looking at the wrong one. Right hand side is going to be, we got 48, 64, 64, 64. How am I reading this wrong? So the second one from the left-hand side is 48, 8,000. That's why. 48, 8,000. 64, 64. Ah. Is it in a different order again? No. 64, 8,000. It's probably in a different order every time. Oh, no. Uh, 64, 64. There we go. Does that make sense? Yep, that makes sense. Okay, cool. All right, that's it for today. We've got a few more to go, but that'll do the trick. If we do, actually we could probably do this one really quick. Really fast, like should pass. If it doesn't pass right away, we'll skip it. We'll do 2 dimensions. So let's make this one 64. Okay, so this could give us 2, 48 and 64. 48, 64, and then 64, 64. I should do this. And what is the issue here? It gave us 4. Change this down to 5. Still giving us 4 items, right? Yep. So, anyways, let's go back and fix that. So that's it for today. We'll continue this tomorrow. Happy coding. See you then.